Hello everyone, welcome to the Icehouse podcast. Today we have a cohort podcast, which is one of my favorites, where we talk to a bunch of people from the same owner-manager cohort. So this is cohort 52, and we have Mason, director at Brightline Construction, Cole, director at Base Property Group. We've got Carol, director at CVG and Healthstat, and Blair, director at Complete Water Solutions. So welcome. Thanks for being on the podcast today, guys.
Thanks for the invite.
No worries. Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. No worries. I love to start with some quick fire questions. We'll keep them quick, but we'll go around and start with you, Mason. What's your coffee order in the morning?
Trim flat white. Let me go. Probably need about 3 of those to get me going, but
love it. That's good. And what do you like to do in your free time?
Anything team sport related.
Cool. Great answer. What is one thing that gets you through lockdowns? We're currently recording in level 4. What's that thing for you?
Zoom drinks with mates.
Yeah, love it. That's a good answer. A book you recommend people read?
I've honestly never read a book, so no help there.
Brilliant. That's great. And first ever job?
Stacking shelves at Pick and Save Albany.
Brilliant. Blair, your time to shine. Coffee order?
Large flat white.
Awesome. What do you like to do in your free time?
Fishing, walking, drinking.
Yeah, that's good answers. What's one thing that gets you through lockdowns?
Afternoon gin.
Cool. A book you recommend people read?
Very much like Mason, I'm not a reader.
Yeah, great. And first ever job?
I'll be stacking shelves at a supermarket as well.
Wow, that's interesting. Cool. What about you? Coffee order?
I'm one of those weird people that don't drink coffee or hot drinks at all. So yeah, no hot drinks for me, eh?
Good on you. You aspire to be like that. What do you like to do in your free time?
Traveling when we can. Obviously a bit hard at the moment, but pretty much anything outdoor and sports really.
Yeah,
so, yeah, mountain biking, running, anything motorsport, that sort of thing.
Awesome. And what's getting you through lockdowns?
Probably last lockdown actually worked quite a bit. So this one just trying to have actually a bit more chill time, to be honest. So yeah, just trying to mix the day up, still getting up early, but going for a walk or a run, and then a couple hours of work, and then yeah, just a couple hours chilling around the house. So yeah, just trying to balance it out, eh? Good
on you. That's great. Are you a book person?
No, I'm not a book person at all.
Okay.
But audiobooks, do listen to a few audiobooks. So just listening to Atomic Habits at the moment.
Nice.
So yeah, that one seems to be pretty good.
Yeah, cool. Good on you. And first ever job?
First ever job was doing the milk run.
Cool.
Semi in the country. So yeah, it wasn't really too hard of a job. I just sat in a truck pretty much. So, so yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
Awesome. That's cool. Nice. Carol, let's jump into you. Coffee order?
Cappuccino, please.
Nice. What do you like to do in your free time?
Exercise and dining out, see my mates.
Cool, good answers. What is one thing that gets you through lockdown?
I think it's people for me, and I'm really fortunate I live in a really fabulous community that actually gives a damn.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Are you a book person?
I am indeed.
Yes, what's one you recommend?
Look, the guys are going to love this. I would recommend the Emmerdale Farm series. It's 24 books by Lee Mackenzie, and it started this TV show in 1972. I am only joking. I'd recommend listening rather than reading. Breath by James Nestor. Nice.
Great answer. And first ever job?
As a lifeguard.
Not
a very good one.
That's fun. That's awesome.
People may have died.
Gosh. I moved on from that one quickly. Nice. Cool, guys. It's always good to sort of just get to know everyone really quick. But jumping into it, maybe Carol, you can start. Explain your business to our listeners and your journey of becoming a business owner.
So my business is research in all its various forms. Research in health, justice, education, transport, and its large population surveys and studies. We also have public health surveillance systems, and that side of the business is extremely busy at the moment. It includes 500 contact callers and tracers that support the public health units
Wow.
My journey into business is not something I'm hugely proud of, but I will share. I got into business 20 years ago by accidentally getting on the wrong side into hot water with the University of Auckland.
Wow.
I was a graduate research fellow in the medical school, and I tendered for some ACC research without telling anyone else. And I continued with that tender because I was absolutely convinced we were going to win. My head of department didn't share that vision, and the end result was that I did indeed get the contract, but it ended my academic career quite quickly. And it was the start of CBG.
Wow, that is awesome. I love that. What about you, Cole? What's your business and your journey getting into business?
So Base Property Group, we have a number of different companies. So sort of 3 different entities really. So one, Base Construction, which is foundation and floor slab company doing all concrete works. So does that for a number of builders, developers and all that sort of thing in the Canterbury area. Then we got Freedom Built, which is a house construction company. So specialise in doing a lot of house and land packages and that sort of thing.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then we've got Gould's Developments, which is a land development company doing sections and all that sort of thing. So
Wow.
yeah, sort of 3 arms to it really. How to get into it? Probably all started, I don't know, I left school at 16, started building apprenticeships, and then when I was probably 20, 21, started my first labour only building company, and then it sort of just grown from there really. So
Wow.
yeah, definitely been an interesting journey.
Yeah, good on you. That's cool. Love that. What about you, Blair? I'm just going across how you look on my screen.
Sorry if I cut out, my internet's a little bit unstable.
That's all good.
So Complete Water Solutions is a commercial irrigation business, mainly for cropping. How did I get into it? I dropped out of school in 7th form and did a couple of jobs, and then ended up managing a service station for a couple of years, and just had a guy come in, used to buy us pies every day, and said, I want you to come work for me.
Awesome.
So ended up, I went and did a wee bit of work for him, and then ended up working for him for a few years, and then just didn't like basically the people I was working for, liked the clients, so ended up starting something for myself.
Oh,
We're only pretty small. There's 8 staff. And just still learning all the time.
Yeah.
How you should run a business, really.
Yeah, awesome. That's cool. And what about you, Mason?
Yeah, well, mine is one of those usual stories where it's kind of a bit accidental, really. I resigned from my previous company and I was going to head off to the UK, and then that kind of fell over. And then I had one of my loyal long-term clients ring me and said, well, if you start up your own company, we'll get you off the ground. And then so, so that's how it kind of just, it's kind of like a happy accident, really.
Yeah, cool. Nice. I like that. And what does Brightline Construction do? Obviously,
we're a subcontractor, so we build for others, but kind of hotels, apartments, and townhouses, and kind of office fit outs is our kind of specialty. So
yeah, great. Oh, cool. Awesome. Nice to sort of get to know what everyone does in their journey to becoming business owners. So when did you first hear of the Icehouse and the owner manager program? Cole, do you want to kick us off?
Probably heard about it maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I just had a couple different people I know just through and that sort of thing that have and done it, and they all sort of highly recommended it. So it was another good mate of mine that I went to school with who kept pushing me till ended up making the phone call and ended up coming along.
Awesome. That's real cool. Has everyone else got a sort of similar story there, or any interesting stories of how you heard about it and got on program? Mason, anything?
Yeah, well, my initial business partner that I started Brightline, or joined Brightline with, he did. I think he was OMP 47 or 48.
Cool.
He went through it first and just highly recommended it and said I'd absolutely love it, and so I thought I'd do it as well.
Awesome. What about you, Blair?
My fiance had done it.
Yeah.
And so she kind of pushed me to do it, and then as soon as we contacted Gareth, he really pushed me to do it.
Yeah.
And then kind of put it off, and then because of COVID, and then ended up meeting quite a number of other people that had done it, and everybody sort of was on the same feeling that it was a really good course and really helped them in business.
Yeah, awesome.
So yeah, had a meeting with a guy that I buy pumps off, and he was talking to me about it, and I was like, right, I'm going to do it. I said,
Yeah.
now that I've talked to you, I'm going to lock it in this week. So
Cool.
yeah, so I did
Oh,
that.
good on you. Nice. What about you, Kara?
Yeah, about 2 years ago. So through a business network, really, and not unsimilar to these guys, met a few people who'd actually done it,
Mm-hmm.
and identified that it could be useful
Mm-hmm.
for where we were. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Good on you guys. How was the experience? Would love you to sum it up. Maybe you carry on, Carol, how your experience on the Owner Manager program was.
Yeah, thank you. I think it was a fabulous experience for me. It changed my thinking about myself,
Mm-hmm.
about me as a business owner. It certainly changed my thinking about Healthstat and me in both of the businesses. I think it also gave me energy and direction to move forward at what's proved to be a really important time for us. So yeah, I'll be grateful for a long time to come. So yeah, big thank you.
Yeah, cool. So did you guys as a cohort finish up after COVID? Yeah, it would have been after COVID, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we finished this year in June.
Yeah, totally. So it must have been such a crazy moment sort of doing the program through such different times, a whole new way of doing business, right? So nice to have each other to lean on, which is really cool. What about you, Blair? Any why don't you sum up your experience?
How would I sum up my experience?
Yeah.
Brilliant. I was really dubious and nervous about doing it because I never do things like this. And also it's obviously, it's a relatively expensive thing to do. So it's a big decision. Totally. But yeah, shitting myself on day one. But really awesome group of people. And it sort of gives you, so a little bit like Carol, I was pretty uncertain in business. Mason will freely tell you I never backed myself enough. So for me, it was really good to meet a big group of people, and a lot of the problems across multifaceted businesses are all very similar.
Yeah.
And I think the networking side of it and the friendship is massively invaluable. Like we all sort of chat to each other. I know some more than others, but we have a regular chat group, most of it based around Carol at the moment, wanting to know what's going on with COVID, but she won't tell us.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, really thoroughly enjoyed it, and picked up some really good skills to hopefully integrate into the business.
Great.
To keep it successful.
I love that. Everyone always says like the first day is like their first day of school all over again. Like it's just like that sort of like, oh my gosh, who are these people? Do I belong here? All that sort of thing. But you sort of meet, you sort of form that close bond with everyone quite quickly, which is special to see. What about you, Mason?
100% the best thing I've ever done. And I think
Awesome.
a lot of my mates and associates are probably sick of me talking about it, to be fair. Yeah, like after the first block, I think I got all the value already,
Awesome.
It's just amazing how much you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, totally.
And I kind of wish I did this 5 years ago, but I don't think I would have got as much out of it, to be fair, so I do wish I did it earlier, but now I've done it now, so you can't talk highly enough about it.
Awesome, that's cool. And what about you, Cole?
Probably. I was going to have the exact same comment as what Mason. It's one of those things. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know, and it's not till you get there. And probably the real thing that I did quite like is the bringing in the experts in their certain fields. So it's not just one person taking it the whole time. It's you guys actually bringing in, and most of the people that are coming in are quite engaging. So obviously, like the accountancy side of things, you think you got a few hours on accounting, and everyone will think how boring it is, but it was probably one of the most funniest presentations there was. So that side of things was real good. And then as well too, as Blair said about just the people that are on it and the people you meet. It's quite surprising. You think you put sort of 20 odd business owners in a room, but there's no egos. Like nobody there's got an ego. I think they're better than anybody else. Everyone's sort of there on the same page wanting to learn. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And next question, but staying with you, Cole, any changes that you implemented into your business and lifestyle since doing the program? And I like the lifestyle one too, because I think that's really important for a business owner. But anything that stands out?
Yeah, so biggest sort of one was, especially for me, part of it was obviously when you're doing all the surveys and when actually doing the surveys of the staff, of our staff and getting their feedback. I gained quite a wee bit for that. And one of the big changes is getting them a lot more involved in the vision and where we're heading and what we're doing. Because I'm just one of those ones that I'd work on that in the background and, start organising it all. But not everybody on the boat knows where we're going and what we're doing. So it just helps bring out a few key things like that. And then, probably just putting a bit more structure, job description, so people know exactly what they're turning up each day to do. Has been some good stuff. And then, lifestyle. Obviously, you guys have experts in that sort of stuff that come in and teach you about work-life balance and all that sort of thing. So, one of the changes for me, I guess, was getting one of those Garmin watches to start tracking sleeping and tracking the amount of exercise and tracks your stress and all that sort of stuff. That's probably a big change that I made. Yeah,
also real practical too. I like that. What about you, Carol?
Yeah, I really got to know our numbers, which at a really important time. And we now have a new accounting system and a new accounting partner. So just a little push for Lee Maddox and Frank. Amazing.
Yes, they're brilliant.
We also designed and implemented a leadership and coaching program, and that's in part so we've got more talent sharing, but it's enabled me to get out of the business a lot more, even thus far. So I'm out 3 to 4 days business development working on and not in, which it was my dream. So it was really good. On the lifestyle front, I learned to sleep less. Move more. I sleep in 12 hours a day. I only need 8 apparently. To drink more red wine.
Nice.
Definitely did give me a go on that. You guys were there. You guys were witnesses. And to breathe.
Yes. That's awesome. Great answers. What about you, Mason?
Well, mine, I found that I was kind of the weakest part of the business, to be fair, and going back after that first block and having a good sit down to my senior team and realizing that, I kind of just had to step out of it and let them do what they're employed to do, and how willing they were to actually help change the culture. That was probably the biggest thing I got out of Icehouse.
Yeah, cool.
If you don't have culture, you got nothing. So, and seeing how willing those guys are to help continue to grow this thing was probably now that gets me out of bed every morning. That's quite exciting.
That's awesome.
I always thought it was all about me, but it's actually not.
Yeah, and cool that you have a team that are really willing to back you and improve on that, even if it's not their business. Anything from a lifestyle perspective?
No, to be fair, no. I've got bad habits. It's going to take a while to get out of me, but one thing at a time.
That's awesome. And what about you, Blair?
Probably a couple of the biggest things with structure. We really lack structure within the business, and that's my fault. And so looking at putting things in place so that everybody knows where we're going. Like what Cole was saying, you're organising things in the background, but not everybody on the boat knows where you're going. And one of the other real big things was me in the business. Where do I sit, and where do I want to be? What do I want to do, and what do I not want to do? Because I had stagnated, and that was another reason why I sort of was really keen to get into Icehouse. I'd lost my motivation. Business was still making money, but it could be going a lot better. So thinking about where I want to be in the business. So sort of starting to single out where I want to be, what I want to get rid of. Want to put in an ops manager currently. That's sort of we haven't been going that well the last few months with the big hailstorm that we had. So people aren't spending money. So turnover's not great at the moment, but we're still looking to implement those changes later in the year or early next year.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I can spend more time doing what I enjoy, not the stuff that I don't, and that I procrastinate on and just waste time basically. So.
Yeah, awesome. Good insight. And anything from that lifestyle perspective for you?
I've already sort of been working on that quite a bit in the last couple of years, just due to personal circumstances. But having a really good work-life balance. Yeah. Making sure you get out and do things that you enjoy, and don't be a slave to your business. Yeah,
really important.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. For the next question, we don't need to go around the circle, but does anyone have any thoughts? Sort of just yell out if you have any thoughts around any learnings that you took from others in your group. Obviously, we've talked about how interesting it is that like people can come from different industries, and you kind of think, what are these people going to know about my world or my business? But I think quite quickly we realize we're all in the same boat. Same similar challenges. Does anyone have any thoughts around that? Any learnings they took from their OMP group?
I'd like to be a little bit more like Mason. He got some.
You always say the sweetest things, Blair.
Yeah. No, I just sort of. He
makes some here. It's been happening for a long time now.
Really bold decisions. Like he just, like he went out and had some advice that having full-time contractors working for you wasn't the way to do it. Probably backtracking on that thought process now with the wage rise he's probably had. But, he went out and stopped people officially what were contractors and employed 25 people after advice on one of our sessions, of one of our blocks. And now that's probably hurting a little bit more with COVID and having to pay them every week. But, that was a really big decision. And I was like, shit, this guy's got some balls. On the same token, he was actually saying to me, shit, mate, you're doing all right. So,
awesome.
Yeah,
totally being bold and sort of learning from others.
Well, because like when you go into the group phases, block 3 and 5 to work on your growth plan and stuff, everyone's quite proud of their business. So I took offence to a couple of the points that the external panelists made, but then I went away and actually thought, these guys know what they're doing. So made those 2 big changes, and which has really helped.
Awesome.
So I think it's gonna go in and just let go and just listen to as much advice as you can, because everyone goes in there and is actually there to help. And like I said, there's no egos. I was so stoked going in there. I was expecting some big heavy players in there who try to tell everyone how to do things, but just everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah, totally. Best interest at heart, and really do care, which is cool. But really cool thought as well to actually, you might hear something on program, it might hit a nerve a little bit, but to actually go away and reflect on it, and implement what you see is needed, which is cool. Any other thoughts from you guys?
Yeah, I suppose the thing I found quite good is like Mason would be a perfect example, was real similar industry, but because he's in a complete different part of New Zealand, you can sit down and have over a couple beers just those open, honest conversations about exactly where you're at and what problems and stuff, because you might be in the same industry or a similar industry, so it's not like it's somebody else in your area you're worrying about poaching work or anything like that. So you can meet other people with same problems and have those good conversations, and not be too worried about who else in your area or what else might be going on.
That's important.
And I think just about with all those conversations too, you almost learn as much off the people you're going through it with as you do off the people taking it.
100%. Nice. What about you, Carol?
I'm a little bit different to Blair and Mason. I managed to extend the love to the entire team. I love all of OMP52. I think I learned that we're like-minded, and I sort of found a little bit more of a fit for me with like-minded people. These guys might absolutely disagree with that. But and Blair, what you said earlier, most of us are struggling with the same things. And what I watched and heard was that that's impeding, reaching your full potential. And I loved hearing about the potential and the vision that people had. But I also learned by watching people like Mason, you are the superstar today, that if you put the right systems in place, it will allow you to grow. You'll earn that growth.
Awesome. That's cool. I love that. Nice. What's been the biggest adjustment for you guys in this whole new world of business, sort of post and during COVID? Is there anything from the year 2020 that you guys have taken into 2021 doing a bit differently?
Yeah, like Carol mentioned, knowing your numbers. I think COVID was the best thing that could have ever happened for me for my
cool.
career. It kind of stripped everything back, and you kind of plan for the worst. I remember those first 2 weeks, it was just, what's going to happen here? And then coming out of it was just unbelievable. And then having the OMP timing was, I think we started February. Again, best timing could happen, because again, that's when the growth phases started happening with the business, and that's obviously what we worked on. So yeah, the timing could have been better for me personally.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Anyone else?
I learned at my peril that systems are vital and unearned growth really costs, but we were in a situation where we were forced really to grow, and we took on quite a bit of water. So I think I've learned that you've got to be ready to learn quickly and to adapt. And now I'm probably more ready and accepting of change than I was before, because I've learned the lesson, like everyone else, that crap happens and nothing stays the same.
Yeah, totally. Pretty quick. Big growth for you, I'm guessing, that season. That's cool. What about you guys? Anything else?
Biggest thing for probably us has just been, I guess, realizing how far behind we were with technology.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting.
Because well, obviously after the first time round of having a lockdown is how much you rely on actually everything that was based at the office. So yeah, just getting everything up in the cloud and actually using technology a lot more. That this time round, the day that it got announced, obviously people just picked up a laptop, and then everyone's been working full steam from home, and sort of no real slowdowns. Where last time we're trying to log in remotely and everything else, it was an absolute nightmare. So probably from the being a builder side of things, it's not really technology is a strong point, but having to learn all that and get all that up to speed's been really really good for us.
Yeah, totally. And I definitely feel at this time it's definitely a bit more copy and paste from what we've learnt last year, and we've got our processes in place as businesses, and we can just sort of pick it up with very short notice, like this last lockdown's been. Cool. I'll move on to the next one and the last question, I think, which is, what piece of advice would you tell an owner-manager of a small, medium-sized business in New Zealand at this time, and just in general? Any pieces of advice?
Do the Icehouse program, do the owner-manager program.
Promise you don't have to say that. Awesome.
I would say hang in there. Because this too will end, and it is painful, actually, and get ready to recover. Get excited about recovering, because we will, and look after your people. So I think many are looking for a bit of leadership and a bit of extra care, and this is a chance to help those who actually have helped you in the past.
Yeah, cool.
Will help you in the future, especially in this labour market.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, any thoughts from you guys?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is just know your numbers, like know exactly where all your costs are, and if there's anything you can say. But yeah, like Carol said, you got to look after your people, especially this time around. We're going to come back out into a real awful market. It's going to be worse than before. And like, you just can't afford to lose your good people, and rely on them too. If you ask for help and show there's opportunity for growth there, it's amazing how much more effort the guys are willing to put in as well. It's not all on you.
Totally. They want to know, like, hey, you can rely on me and stuff. I'm here and I'm committed to the business, which is cool. What about you, Cole?
Probably just picking up the phone and just calling different people, like friends and that are in business as well. Because not trying to reinvent the wheel, but as I say, everyone's going through all the same sort of stuff, so they don't even have to be in the same industry. But it's probably been the biggest thing is just talking to different mates who all got businesses as well as to what they're doing it, how they're handling it. Because instead of trying to solve all the problems yourself, bouncing ideas off different people definitely helps. Because as I say, quite a few of them might have already solved those problems to save you a job as well.
So true. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. And I love that, like I was talking to someone, I think it was even in a podcast yesterday, about how she was saying it's so not common as an adult to like get an injection of new friends into your life, and to be people that just get it and understand that you can bounce off and jump on a phone call really easily. And so it's cool to have that network come through the program too. But thank you all. I really appreciate your time and insight into the program. And we really hope from these podcasts that it inspires people that are on the fence to jump in and do it at some point in their business journey. So I appreciate you guys all. Thanks heaps.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
For having us.